One. Hello and welcome to the Benzo Rehab Dungeon, episode 78. It is the 4th of February, 2022. I am your host, Michael Deebs. I am joined, as always, by co-host Danko Suvin from the Instagram handle @DankDeluz. Also joined by John, the producer, from the Instagram handle @Discopathic. John, how are you doing today, sir?
Great. I survived the anniversary of the snowpocalypse.
We're all very glad to hear that.
The second snowpocalypse almost on the same date, I believe.
Snowpocalypse 2.
Yeah.
Snowpocalypse.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all I got.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yeah, we're glad to see you here alive. I did remember that was happening, I think, sometime around this day, and I forgot to check in on you to make sure you were living, but you showed up for the podcast, so I guess it's like your boss at work, you know? He doesn't care about you until you don't show up to work.
Didn't John first join up with us just a little ways before Snowpocalypse 1?
I believe so, yes.
So that means you've been with us for a little over a year.
Yeah.
Our anniversary came and we all forgot.
Oh, shit.
How sad.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I'm not good at remembering anniversaries or...
Yeah, that's why I'm single.
Or the people in my life.
Also why I'm single.
We're joking. We're having jokes. Danko, how are you doing today as well?
I'm good. I figure most of the stuff that we want to talk about how my day has been going, we're going to save for later. But it has been a day. It's been an extremely funny day. And life is fine, probably.
A day that will forever live in ifunny.co.
In iFunny, yeah. A day that will forever live in iFunny.
I just came up with that. I feel pretty good about that one.
I mean, you said it wrong, but
well, whatever. We have content tonight. We're gonna do a little bit of news, a little bit of follow-ups, and then Danko, you actually have the first link. So if you wanna introduce us.
What is the first link?
It's what you sent in about.
Oh yes.
Elon Musk.
Yeah. So Elon Musk, some kid ended up tracking his jet and had a Twitter that would announce where it was, and in response, Elon Musk offered him $5,000.
What a cheap
to take it down, and to he'd also ask him to show him how to make his jet less trackable, which I don't know if he would get additional money for that. Probably not.
Certainly
because he's
not,
offering him $5,000.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really funny just because of how small the amount offered was.
I mean, $50,000 is nothing to him. Or sorry, $5,000 is nothing to him.
And $50,000 is how much the guy who runs the account wanted minimum.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Yeah, he wanted $50,000, a new Tesla, I think.
I wouldn't try to. I mean, it's not extortion quite, but I wouldn't try to extort a Tesla out of Elon Musk, because I feel like it would have it would end like Kafka's The Penal Colony, where there would be needles that would come out of the car and stab me to pieces.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think this just goes to show that the best thing to do with billionaires is threaten them.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Well, I believe Elon Musk gave up and just blocked the kid, which
Of
doesn't
course.
change that he's tracking
Right.
Elon Musk, which is funny. Like, oh, I'm mad at you, so I'm going to block you now. Like, okay, the project goes on, I guess.
And honestly, the more celebrities that block you, the better. Really.
Yeah, the cooler you are.
It does make you based.
Which we're all trying to do here is just be based.
Mm-hmm.
Are they still doing those block tree things that the I think the blue hairs came up with it?
Is it block tree is what they're using in order to like they cut them down to make cryptocurrency?
No, but like there was this thing that where like websites where like you could just like block everybody on a list that some blue hair elder fucking like came up for you.
Like, these are the problematic people you should get rid of.
Yeah, and there were like people that were like realizing like, you know, that they were blocked before they even like hit it big on whether it was YouTube or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, you've just got some like
famous of.
Some clearly off their meds, like BPD queen, going around just determining what the moral relevance of each Twitter account is and whether or not they should be followed before you. And like they're so deeply ingrained in Twitter that you've got like 2 followers and still they fucking find you.
Oh yeah. I've been right when I started my Twitter, I realized that I had been blocked by so many people I had never interacted with. So I'm sure I'm on at least one of those cool lists.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I probably am too.
That's because of Instagram
at this point.
So, yeah.
Twitter is a fucking nightmare, and I'll never get involved.
It sucks.
With it. Yeah.
I can't get used to it. It just the way that replies work. It's finally bad. Yeah, it's finally clicked for me, but it doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah, no. putting that much effort into things is not worth it.
Shit post that it doesn't even have pictures most of the time. What's up with that?
Yeah, I've come to realize that my OnlyFans will never take off because of my inability to use Twitter and refusal to use it. So
yeah,
I mean, Instagram's how you got to do it, because you got to sneak a little side butt, you know, little under butt maybe.
I believe they call that so Buttstagram.
Buttstagram. Yeah, you got to become a theory thought with the rest of us.
Some of us are not that. Let's go to the next link. Speaking of Twitter. Immediately after probably what happened in the background was like Spotify's like, look, man, you can say whatever you want, but at least like, I don't know, stop being such an asshole about COVID or whatever. But immediately after that, Joe Rogan decides to share this, and there's no way he read past the article's headline. But if you want to scroll down.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah. Producer job. You want to put it on your resume, but you don't want to do the work. Interesting.
Hey, you know, like maybe I'll get better at my job when I get a credit for being the guy that pushes the buttons.
There you go.
There should be a tweet around in here somewhere.
Tweet. No,
there we go.
Hold on. Quick question about what's happening here with John. What is a deucer?
Well, you know how certain adult films will have something called a fluffer?
A fluffer. Okay, but it's like that with poop, or?
Well, a deucer is somebody who induces the eels inside of a woman.
Oh yeah, so she can push them out in the tub.
So she can push them out.
So John is our producer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you use buttons in order to
I'm
deuce?
Full of eels right now.
Excellent. I just had to ask.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
anyway,
John,
tweets,
if you could click on that darker tweet in there.
Easy, Mike.
That's rude. And okay, yeah, pull up that screenshot for the darker tweet.
Pull it up, enhance.
But basically, Joe Rogan tweeted out, "Well, looky here," and the headline is, "Just in, Japan's Koa, in partnership with Kitasoto University at Tokyo Medical University, says ivermectin is effective against Omicron in phase 3 trial." They would end up retracting that headline and changing it to "has some antiviral effects," which we already kind of all knew.
We knew that.
Yeah. And the other side of this is also that this is a company like basically saying that their own product works in this capacity. So it's not like an independent study or anything like that necessarily. It's funded research from somebody who stands to benefit from the research, and then they like over-reported the effectiveness of it in the first place. So you might think Joe Rogan, being the guy who, like, you know, is just about ideas and he's all about being fair to all ideas and stuff like that, might I don't know, maybe retract it and say, "Hey guys, I posted something that was inaccurate." You know, because he's fair that way, right? That's the Joe Rogan we all know and love. What he did instead is he just deleted the tweet.
Yeah. Joe Rogan, more like bro joking.
More like he's really just decided to die on this stupid hill that he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And it needs to be like really, really impressed upon people that he doesn't understand what he's saying half the time.
Yeah, I mean he's a grappler in his ground game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's trying to be a striker as a grappler. I don't know. I don't watch.
I thought my metaphor worked.
Probably. Didn't need to improve on it. Still tried to anyways. And I guess you could say I'm a little bit of a kicker in a striker's game.
What are we talking about?
We're talking. I love you as a rose, but kind of more like a daffodil if you think about it.
A daffodil by any other name would I don't actually know much about plants, sorry.
Hell yeah.
So go ahead and go to the next link there.
Next link.
Jordan Peterson being the fucking, like, I don't know, what do you just a little fucking suck up, like just a smarmy little suck up.
He's a simp for boys.
Yeah. But Jordan Peterson retweeted Joe's original status with And as you can see by that screenshot, this tweet is unavailable. So the classic, one of these people, leans very heavily on the fact that he's got the DR in his name, the doctor, right? Neither one of them could be asked to go through the fucking article and actually read what the article said. They just relied on a fucking headline to give them the information that affirmed what they wanted to put out there. And this should be more embarrassing to these people than it is, but they're fucking like army of simps, just always does the hand waving like, yeah, you're taking him out of context. He didn't say that he approved of it. He just said after clearly showing a bias towards fringe medical beliefs that have no basis in reality.
Yeah. And I mean, he couldn't even read the warning labels on his own medication.
Yeah, on the benzos that say this is a dangerous drug, by the way.
Well, the thing is that if you have a degree in psychology or psychiatry, they don't give you that warning because you're supposed to fucking know that to begin with. No, they start. They do.
If I know this as somebody who just has been around people popping Xans.
If I knew this as a drug addict,
I never got on Xans too much.
They're not that fun. I
love feeling drowsy.
Yeah, I would take way too much and then forget what movie I watched.
Yeah.
and feel weird because I ate something strange.
Definitely.
And that's a party, if I know a party.
That's the most fun I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. Nothing like the lame bullshit of something like Molly or opiates, where you get to hang out in a room and feel really good about everything.
I've never understood these like getting on like Xanax and bar pills and fucking all this other weird shit, because it's just like it seems to do nothing until it makes you go crazy.
Yeah.
And like, so is it fun to be that fucking crazy?
I mean, it sounds funny at least, and that's enough reason for me to do anything in my life.
Jordan Peterson seems like he's having a good time.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. I was talking to someone earlier today who apparently has met Peterson twice. And apparently he is he's even weirder to talk to in person, and he cried during their conversations.
Oh God.
And I think that's the most beautiful thing in the world.
That man's tears are on a fucking hair trigger. It's amazing.
And I'm at a point now where I at first I thought it was the crying was a game. And I'm sure it is to some degree, but yeah, now I'm just convinced that he just cries a lot, which honestly, you know, more power to you. Crying is good.
I don't think
but maybe fucking, I don't know, deal with it sometimes. Don't cry about like thinking about a turtle.
I'm not anti crying or anti like men showing emotion or anything like that, but like when he's talking about like just like I don't know, the right to say mean things to trans people, and he goes and when your freedoms are taken from you like that, that's hell.
Well, you know, he's quivering. Actually, he's the opposite of the Joker, where the Joker laughs in weird inopportune moments, like my daughter has cancer. Instead, he cries at weird moments. We finally stopped Hitler. Actually, that would make
you know the sad like disabused shabby looking clowns used to be called tramps.
Yeah.
So he's the tramper.
He is. I could use a tramper, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you know what I mean.
I need a sad clown to hang out in my office.
and cry while ranting to me about some abstract concept of hell.
Hell yeah.
Hell! Let's get to the real fun stuff, which is the title of this episode is "Fucking Around in Other Countries," which is something a certain country that we all happen to live in happens to do a lot.
Do you think we're ever going to find out?
Find out what?
Well, we're fucking around. Do you think we'll ever find out?
Well, I think what happens is lots of other people find out.
Oh, okay. And they report it to us, and then they throw shoes at our presidents.
Yeah, and then we tell them that they're terrorists for throwing shoes at our president, who has murdered millions of their countrymen.
Well, you know, it happens, man.
As long as we have it like all worked out in the courts, like what right does somebody that had to be angry about it? You know.
Look, we didn't need to ask Congress, okay?
Yeah, we'll get into that. John, could we allow all from Al Jazeera for truth and transparency?
Oh, man.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Yeah. Al Jazeera cookies.
It's just cookies, and it only alerts the FBI that you're looking at Al Jazeera.
It's okay. They can already figure out our internet search history through our GPU anyway. So
yeah, which... Man, sorry for that, boys. Am I allowed to feel bad for the FBI agent that tracks my internet usage? Because, man.
Why are there so many horse cocks?
That dude's seen some stuff.
None of this is technically illegal.
Sorry, I said that dude. It could be a woman that's following me. I don't know.
They're all dudes, though.
It could
like,
be
they're not all men, but they're all dudes.
It could
It
be
could
a
also be a they.
yeah.
You know?
I was gonna say
Yeah.
it could also be a they. It could also
That's
be
even
a
dudier.
Yeah.
what was it? Person of color diagnosed
Uh-huh.
with
Generalized anxiety disorder.
generalized anxiety disorder.
I don't know about you fellas, but I feel pretty good about the fact that it could be a POC transgender lady knocking my door down with a battering ram when the government takes me away.
Yeah, all I want when someone shoots my dog and then puts the gun to my stomach is for them to say yes as it happens.
with a boss bitch patch on their fucking bulletproof vest. Yeah,
just kind of kick their head to the side.
Yeah, I could just die happy.
I hope that when I'm like face down and like a bunch of broken glass as they're cuffing me, they say we have them in custody.
Even though you're just one man.
I don't want them to assume my gender if I haven't given
really
it to them.
Yeah. Just drowning face down in a pool of your own vomit because you've been tased so many times, and your last words bubbling through are, "We've come so far." Anyway, so we bombed Syria a bunch.
When the cop shoots me, I want him to say BIPOC down, all right?
That's really good.
I gotta meme that later.
Please, yeah.
Maybe I'll actually do this one.
No.
So let's put on our let's wash the face and put it down to the frowny one. Barrage of attacks, civilians killed in U.S. raid in Syria, 6 children and 4 women among 13 people killed as U.S. Special Operations Forces launch a raid in Idlib province, first responders say. If we could go down to the meat of the article. At least 13 people, including 6 children, have been killed during a United States Special Operations Forces raid in Syria's rebel-held Idlib province, according to residents and first responders. The overnight raid targeted a building in Atma, a densely populated town in northwest Syria near the Turkish border, where tens of thousands of people displaced by the country's decade-long war live. U.S. President Joe Biden said the raid targeted the leader of... Could you zoom in a little bit? Sorry.
Yeah. And while I zoom in, are we just like giving our special operations guys like nothing but like automatic shotguns with fucking like grenade fucking rounds or something like that?
Well, it makes them feel better, So
yeah,
because not saying that they were like the best or anything in the past, but like I remember like we used to like fucking like snatch special operations would like snatch a single guy from like a doctor's appointment in a country that we weren't supposed to be in, and we wouldn't know about it for 20 years. Right. But then like now we're just like fucking like just like blowing up women and children with the highest trained fucking commandos in the US military.
There used to be some belief that people finding out that we were doing this shit mattered. And I was just like, we sank Kurdistan. I don't know how that happened.
Well, it's like the we can relate this easily to something like Rodney King, right? Where the initial reaction to just the blatant abuse of somebody and what should have been their rights immediately triggered outrage, right? Like there was huge riots over it. The next time that this happens really is kind of with George Floyd in a massive way. But really what's happened is we now see just this week police in Minneapolis, of all fucking places, conducted basically a no-knock surprise raid and killed a black person in his bed. So And where is like the massive amount of outrage over this? It's nowhere to be found anymore, because it's not like a desensitization of it. It's just all the push for, the riots that started with George Floyd was met with like, especially the Democratic neoliberal sort of like, we're gonna do something about it. We kneeled with the kente cloth, and we're gonna talk about police reform, and then that goes nowhere. So everybody loses heart in the first place, and now it's just kind of the expected norm, and uh the war on terror, quote unquote, um and especially what we're doing in the Middle East all the time is the same way. When those special operations, I think it was the snipers, yeah, the snipers had that video of them pissing on corpses came out, everybody was outraged, right? And then the promise was, oh, we're going to do something to change, the way that we operate in that way. And of course, nothing fucking changed.
No.
It's just that that outrage was met with a promise. The promise never came through, but it was just so mired up in like the long term, just exhaust the people who are criticizing you sort of stuff that now here we are where Joe Biden's first airstrike as he was leaving Afghanistan killed nothing but civilians, and what came of that? Nothing, because we just expect it now. Joe Biden said, "Oh, I'm going to get us out of Afghanistan. I'm going to be different than the last couple of presidents dealing with the Middle East," and we're finding out that that's not true. And so now people are like, "Okay, well, this is just what we expect." That was a rant I wasn't prepared to give, but it's something I feel deeply about this.
No, you're on the money with that, and like a lot of it still is just desensitization in the end, which isn't something anyone wants to like admit. But I certainly felt a lot more the first 300 times that I heard about cops shooting some unarmed black man, or us bombing a village, or this or that, and it still hits me. But it's
well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, people eventually kind of had to go back to work. We're forced to
live your fucking life, and that sucks.
or else you'll be the next person shot to death by the cops, because you'll be evicted or displaced in some way, and you'll be now on the street, and the cops abuse people on the street regularly without anybody saying anything about it.
Right.
Regardless of your race.
and if you are an activist that does say something about it, or try to show people what the cops do to homeless people, then they then abuse you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Generally without punishment.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as when they shoot me, they say BIPOC down.
Yeah. As long as they ask me my preferred pronouns before they do the fucking cavity search on the side of the road. Which, by the way, there are tons of videos of cops raping people.
Yeah, just in broad daylight. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, but they call them cavity searches, but they're and you can find it on Facebook or YouTube without edit. They just cavity search people on the side of the road.
I mean, you can call your kink whatever you want to call it, but it's still sex in the end, right?
Yeah. Yeah, because finding a gram of weed in a 19-year-old man's ass is worth it.
Yeah.
See,
that's why.
Think of what that weed would have done to that person's life.
Yeah.
If I found,
I need to fist his asshole.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time looking at 19-year-old men's assholes.
Yeah,
if I found a bag of weed up in there, that would just be like,
a big turnoff for me.
Well, I would be happy, I guess. I'd be like, oh, hell yeah, weed, that's cool. I don't smoke it, but maybe you want some? I don't know, dude.
Hey, did you know this was up there?
Yeah. Is this yours?
No, I'm holding it for a friend. That rules. That's very good.
Keeping it warm.
Continuing this article.
All but 3 are definitely not combatants. Yes. Continuing.
U.S. President Joe Biden said the raid targeted the leader of ISIL, Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi. Thanks to the skill and bravery of our armed forces, we have taken off the battlefield Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qurashi, the leader of ISIS. All Americans have returned safely from the operation. Very, very important thing to note there. All Americans.
Yeah.
Continue down. So, according to the neighbors, Abu Fahed al-Hamzi, a displaced Syrian who works or who lives a block away from the site of the attack, told Al Jazeera that his family was awoken in the early hours. We woke up at 11 a.m. to the sound of helicopters, or 1 a.m., sorry. And then at around 3 a.m., we heard a barrage of attacks. We saw a house that was targeted and damaged roads. We still have no idea what was going on. Residents said the helicopters were hovering over the building for more than 2 hours before attacking it. The U.S. Special Forces then carried out a landing operation and stormed the house. So basically, they harassed this neighborhood for a bunch of hours. Let's go ahead and go down towards the bottom where oh yeah, we don't need to focus on that. That's child blood. So the Pentagon initially did not give any details about the raid, but said the mission was successful. There were no U.S. casualties. Go down. Okay, so yeah. The latest raid was the largest carried out by the U.S. in the province since an attack in 2019 that targeted and killed ISIL leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. It came a week after U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin issued a directive ordering military leaders to do more to protect civilians from harm in drone attacks and other combat operations. Go ahead and go to the next link. And this is where they kind of confirm that the intent of this style of attack was to limit civilian casualties.
Oh, that's good.
In which case, you did a great fucking job, guys.
Like, I'm telling you, they those like from the video game shotgun grenade rounds. That's all. That's all the Navy SEALs are using these days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all red faction to them.
It's just an action movie. Fucking, it's just Expendables 4 happening over and over again.
Hell yeah!
But all the expendable henchmen are women and
civilians.
Children.
Yeah.
Hey.
Some of them are military age men.
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Yeah.
That's anybody above the age of 12.
There you go.
Is that what it is now?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was initially, was the age of 12 or up. But then anybody who was perceived to be holding a weapon was then also potentially dangerous. So
yeah.
It was a combatant automatically if they were 12 and above, and if they were holding a weapon, it didn't matter if it was like a fucking toddler.
Yeah. I mean that's something I apply to my everyday life. Which is that every time that I'm walking down the street with like a date or something, and I see a 12-year-old boy walk by, I like make sure that her and I cross to the other side like immediately, and then I make sure to put my hand on my gun, which I keep like right in my pants there. I wish you guys could see it. But
sorry, babe, can never be too careful.
Yeah. And whenever a school gets let out, it gets really confusing and frightening for me.
Yeah. You're just holding your crotch ready to pull your gun out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Every time I see an 8th grader,
you grab for your belt.
I grab for my belt every time I see an 8th grade boy. It's true.
The school bells ring and your fight or flight senses are triggered, and you ain't no pussy, so.
I ain't, guys. All right. I know what to do with a 12-year-old. All right. I'm not some kind of bitch boy.
Yeah, you're not.
Nobody would ever accuse you of that.
No, thank you. That's what I suspected, but was not sure of. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, we all think you're a cool guy.
A cool, strong, big boy.
Yeah, the article though.
Oh yeah. How many
Once again,
do we kill?
Falling off the tracks. The ISIL, in parentheses, ISIS leader killed in a United States raid in Syria lived on the 3rd floor of a compound above an unwitting family that was not associated with the group, U.S. officials have said. The U.S. military conducted the operation on Wednesday that killed Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Kirashi. I don't know how to shorten his name.
He has one name for every 10 civilians killed while taking him out.
Ooh. I'm just gonna call him Abu Ibrahim from now on.
Sure.
If his name comes up,
just turn it into an acronym.
AIHALAQ. What?
Yeah. If you say all that really fast, you say something that sounds racist.
Who officials in Washington say blew himself up, killing members of his own family. ISIL has yet to confirm Al-Qarashi's. Oh, I guess they figured out how to shorten it. Al-Qarashi. That's how we'll do it from there.
There you go.
So they're taking So they're taking credit for killing him, but saying that he killed himself.
It's gonna get worse than that, John. Please scroll down.
Okay.
I mean, every time I cyberbully someone into suicide, I take credit. So.
Yeah.
It's another ear I keep on my necklace.
So, U.S. officials say the military chose to conduct a raid with troops instead of bombing the compound to minimize the harm to the family that lived on the 1st floor. It was due to the risk of this unwitting family and other civilians in the area that President Joe Biden ordered this air assault operation, placing our own troops at risk to minimize the risk to others. And they succeeded in that mission, a senior administration official told reporters on Wednesday. Continue to scroll down. So they go into some of the details of how the raid went. Later on Thursday, Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said it appears as if a child was also killed on that 2nd floor. But he added that the U.S. military was able to bring out a total of 10 civilians from the building, 6 from the 1st floor and 4 children from the 2nd floor. Kirby said Al-Qarashi's suicide bombing killed at least 3 civilians, but the White Helmets, the Syrian civil defense first responders that operate in rebel-held areas of the country, had said that 13 people were killed in the raid, including 6 children and 4 women. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin applauded the raid and reiterated that ISIL was responsible for the deaths of civilians during the operation. But he suggested that the Pentagon will review the incident. This operation was specifically designed and conducted in a manner to minimize civilian casualties, Austin said in a statement.
So, again, the U.S. government in, I believe in the 90s, they literally kidnapped a fucking war criminal out of a hospital when he was going to get his annual checkup. Yeah. The military did.
Right.
Not a single fucking civilian death. Nobody even fucking knew until the guy didn't show up for his fucking appointment. And they waited and probably canceled his appointment like normal doctors would. Yeah. And he was out of the country before anybody knew, and sitting in front of a fucking UN judge or some shit.
I gotta say, John, I'm surprised to hear this from you, but these sound like very unpatriotic thoughts to be criticizing our military for an operation that was clearly not botched in any way. No. Clearly not formed on incredibly false pretenses of how it would go down. Probably had the best intelligence any operation could have.
Look, you're right. You're right. I'm proud of our fucking boys in uniform for
and girls
suiciding, and girls for fucking suiciding a dangerous man into killing a bunch of civilians.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say that, ultimately, no matter what you think about this type of thing generally or politically, the 13 civilians that died, is that the correct number?
That seems to be the working number now.
Right. All of those are replaceable. Whereas the man who we went in there to kill and did kill could never be replaced by ISIS or ISIL.
No,
that was going to be one of the last points I made, is that this is literally a replacement for the guy who was mentioned earlier, which was Al Baghdadi.
Maybe
Big Daddy.
Maybe this guy didn't train his replacement, you know.
Yeah, and no one else is going to do it.
Yeah.
It's like working at a
the rigorous training program. Yeah, the rigorous training program that you go through to be a Islamic radical.
Yeah.
Really, you know, they really don't put enough emphasis on the managerial aspects of leading an insurrection.
Yeah, they have a lot
in
to
a
learn.
State that has a massive power vacuum, you know.
they have a lot to learn in management strategies, as well as in terms of combat strategies from the good people of the Golden Corral.
Maybe they should make like a series of like training videos, like how to talk to your radicals.
I mean, frankly, the U.S. military might be able to learn from like one more slideshow about that.
Well, we'll actually talk about a little bit of that later on. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So go ahead and go down underneath that ad.
Underneath that ad,
we know that Al-Qurashi and others at his compound. You went down just a little bit too far, John.
Oh, okay.
Caused the deaths of women and children that night. But given the complexity of this mission, we'll take a look at the possibility our actions may have also resulted in harm to innocent people. Nobody was dying until we showed up. I will just point that out. Nobody in that area was being shot at, maimed, or blown up until we showed up.
Yeah, but is that a good thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say so. With the amount of drones and other surveillance equipment we have, you probably could, and you know, the claim is being made that he literally never left this house, and it's like, that's probably fucking fake. Everybody leaves their house at some point. There's no way that this guy, like, who is a radical terrorist leader, like, literally never sets foot outside of his house and can't be like precision striked or something. I don't know, when he decides to go take a fucking piss out in the desert somewhere.
Do we not have snipers anymore? Like, I mean, like,
no, they're all grenade snipers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we call them. They're
I mean, if you're gonna pull off an assassination, do it the old fashioned way, you know. Get a guy that's like
a heart attack gun.
Like, nah, just a guy that's like all doped up on meth and just like wants to crawl through the desert for like 3 days to like finally reach his position with his drawers full of shit because he wears a diaper, but it's overflown at this point.
Honestly, that would be so fucking fun.
Concentrates all that rage into a single bullet.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
which of course he dips in his own fecal matter.
They said that they had evidence that the only time he left his house was when he would bathe on top of the roof.
Like Bathsheba.
Yeah, which is weird. That you know that detail of information about him, but you can't do something like what John is saying, which is put a sniper around there if you really need to fucking kill this guy. I've got thoughts about whether or not we should be involving ourselves in this in the first place. But if you really want to fucking do it, like, you have some options that don't involve destroying a fucking neighborhood.
So it was definitely a glory campaign for the fucking commanders involved.
Probably
like they wanted something. They wanted something big. They wanted fucking helicopters.
They wanted their like Saddam Hussein capture, or their I don't know.
They wanted a glorious battle.
Yeah.
Instead of just, we shot a guy today.
Yeah. Well, they're performing these campaigns the same way that I play Hitman when I'm so bored of playing the mission over and over again. Where instead of just being like, okay, I got to wait for this guy to get up into the pool up top of this hotel room, and I have to sneak up and I have to pop a hole in his head. Instead, I'm just gonna fucking like murder the waitress to cause an alarm, and then I have to kill all the kids hanging out in the corner over there, and that'll go ahead and distract the guards, who will blow up on their way down the stairs so that I can finally find the guy and push him out the window.
Block all the exits at the nursing home next door and light it on fire.
Yeah, hell yeah. And frankly, I think that kind of is like it's the same point that you guys were making, more or less, or it's a glory campaign thing. But I mean, it kind of is, I think, just the general sense of malaise and boredom experienced by commanding officers, and just by our like general sense as a nation and as people in general. We're just like, we've been doing this for how long?
I mean,
let's just fucking, I don't know, let's shoot some white phosphorus through the windows.
Well, I think the Biden
this happens with every
administration
protracted war, though. Like it happened in World War II with fucking naval commanders.
Oh sure.
Fucking fucking over ground troops and just leaving them fucking on islands to just do whatever for one.
Yeah.
Fucking like it happens every time we have a protracted war, and this war has been over 20 years, you know. Fucking all there is glory to be got, and it's starting to run out. And
and the other thing is that maybe people have noticed that things aren't going so well in the US right now.
What? Come on, Mike.
And maybe there's like a lot of and you know, ideologies aside, there's just a general sense of discontent and disappointment in the current administration, and this follows on the back of another administration that was a lot of discontent and disappointment. And I think this is really just like we gotta score a win for the nation, which is we've killed the leader of ISIS, who nobody could name. I don't know a single person, including myself. I could not name this guy until he was killed. And I usually keep up pretty well on these kind of things.
Yeah,
I don't.
Well, there are only so many you want to keep track of.
Well, and it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is it doesn't fucking matter, but it's something that they can put down as like hey, we did something that was a win. We killed the bad guys of ISIS. People think that ISIS has assaulted them personally, when ISIS like hasn't actually done anything to the US functionally, except for like the rare instances where we're already over there when we shouldn't be, and they've attacked a couple of like outposts here and there.
I mean, they kind of embarrassed us by stealing all of our shit multiple times.
Like, yeah, I mean that is the most grievous wound they've given us, is that we abandoned a base
our
and
incompetence.
Yeah. How dare you make me look as dumb as I am? So let's go ahead and go to the next link. And just as like a final note on this story, you know, the Pentagon originally admits to like 3 or 4 civilians were killed by the bomb or whatever, and now it turns out that there's 13 dead civilians. So it's like, where's that threshold of like, what did you guys actually do versus what are you like who killed who really doesn't matter, because we shouldn't have done that in the first place.
But whenever I find documents establishing a successful campaign of this sort, when I'm speaking to military personnel, which I do all the time because I have a clearance, I always just comment ratioed.
Yeah.
But no, but fuck, I just no, I remembered it again. But a fun fact about all this stuff that some people may not be aware of is that, Mike, when did we invade Iraq? What year?
2003, I think it was.
2003. And guess what year Al Qaeda was found its presence in Iraq?
I believe it was 2003.
2004. But yeah,
well, I mean late 2003 probably. is what
something like that. But yeah, so it was one of those things where this shit literally like follows and forms just wherever we are.
Well, yeah, I mean,
or produce a vacuum, of course. But,
it's the thing where, if you don't invade another country, the people of that country have no reason to fight you. And 9/11 was not carried out by Iraq or Afghanistan. It was carried out by a bunch of Saudi, some expats, some like actual Saudi citizens. It was carried out by the Saudi radicals. And we never invaded Saudi Arabia. We invaded countries that weren't Saudi Arabia.
No, because we had a financially viable relationship with Saudi Arabia,
right?
But we could definitely extract more from Afghanistan if we just took it over.
Yeah, and so we invade a country that every citizen in that country goes, "Why the fuck are you invading us? It wasn't us." And then we create a situation in which people now want to join this radical force because they're like, oh, we need to do something about these fucking Americans in our country,
right? We did
killing our people.
It was funny.
Committing war crimes against our people, and war crimes isn't even the right term because it shouldn't have even been like considered a war in the first place. So it's just like purely illegal from every vantage point of the law. But we still did it, and
it's not war crimes, it's dickhead stuff.
And an argument that I've used for people who can't wrap their heads around this is like, what if Canada bombed China, and then all of a sudden China invaded the US? Would you not join up with some kind of rebel group? Because it's always the old boys who think, oh yeah, if China ever invaded, I'd pick up my gun and I'd start shooting at them. Would you not join up arms against this invading force?
The only reason I would say no is because I would die laughing.
Yeah, no, that would
be so fucking funny.
I would.
Sorry, you North Americans all look alike.
Yeah, I would not really care that much because I think neither one of the ruling forces is going to be great to me either way. But yeah, I mean, like the simple basic like intuition is there. If you do any amount of work to put yourself in the shoes of somebody whose country has been invaded, yeah, wherever we go, we create this situation where all of a sudden there's terrorists because we're there and we shouldn't be there. It's
the same kind of conversation you have with people who are like super anti illegal immigration all the time, which is that like if you could get a way better job by just like not flying back and you made like so much more and you could keep your kids alive and maybe sneak them with you and help them escape from some crime and stuff, would you not? Or are you would you do that, or are you a bad parent?
No, I mean, like I had a conversation with somebody that like literally had this like fantasy in their head that they would fight the cartels that were threatening to
so fucking good
sell
Clint Eastwood shit.
Yeah, like sell their family into sexual slavery or fucking child soldier slavery. It's like, no, I'd stay and I'd defend my land. And it's like,
I've heard that before, dude. It's incredible that people that's a thing that people say. It's not even like a one crazy guy.
It's like, so you'd be a dead guy whose daughters were cursing your memory as they were sold into sexual slavery.
Yeah.
Essentially,
that's great. That's great for your ghost, I guess.
It was really cool.
You're really dying with your honor there, buddy. Let's go ahead and go to the next link because this is some fun legal stuff that we should look into.
Oh hell yeah! I love fun legal stuff.
The justification for us doing anything at all in Syria, including this last raid, including any kind of military operation that we've ever had in Syria, is that A state may use force in self-defense when subject to an armed attack or imminent threat of armed attack, so long as it meets the international law requirements of necessity, proportionality, and immediacy. The question of where force may be used must also be addressed when the state acting in self-defense, the victim state, wants to conduct military operations against non-state actors like ISIL in another state, the territorial state. Absent UN Security Council authorization, if the territorial state is not at itself willing or able to effectively address the threat posed to the victim state and does not provide consent to the victim state to operate within its borders, a clash of interests arises. The victim state's inherent right of self-defense, Article 51 of the UN Charter, is pitted against the bedrock prohibition on the use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of another state. Again, what has ISIS done to America?
They took some of our tanks after we took over their land.
They've declared they don't like us.
They do. They do it a lot.
Yeah.
They beheaded a guy that was there because we put him there after we invaded.
It is possible that ISIS even at one point did fire rounds at American troops.
Around American troops.
Can somebody remind me why American troops are in that area to begin with?
To fight ISIS.
So, in justifying the use of force against ISIL and Al-Qaeda in Syria, the Obama and Trump administrations have both publicly relied on a controversial theory. The theory holds that a victim state, the United States, on behalf of itself in Iraq, how can it be on behalf of Iraq?
That's
because Iraq didn't have the ability.
Yeah, because we killed their leader and then we installed a government.
We installed
that
said
a
dumbass
we agree with the
president.
U.S. You're right.
It would be like I don't know. It'd be like me being able to like take over my like local police force because like I knew that
they pulled you over for DUI,
or because actually I guess it like because or if I took over a state because I knew that they were going to disproportionately like attack black people with their cops.
Yeah,
I mean, you should though.
Yeah.
That's actually a legal basis. Yeah, that's a legal basis I'll accept. I don't accept this legal basis.
Yeah.
So let's see. On behalf of itself and Iraq, can use force in self-defense against non-state actors, ISIL, Al-Qaeda, and a territorial state, Syria, without that state's consent, so long as the victim state determines that the territorial state is unable or unwilling to effectively address the threat posed by the non-state actors. The scope and content of this self-defense theory, and even its existence as a rule of customary international law, remains deeply contested.
Actually, so this is probably why the Ukraine government is so what do you call it? Seemingly like scared to just invite fucking the whole like all the influence of the U.S. government into their country.
Oh yeah, no, this is absolutely why they're playing that line of there's no conflict.
Yeah.
The claim certainly can't be made that Russia has really attacked the U.S. in any way. That's why the U.S. keeps trying to put troops there, because they want some kind of attack to happen to some degree so that they can justify this self-defense theory sort of shit. So basically what I'm trying to say with this article is that we have no reason being there. There is no actual legal basis for us being there. The entire legal basis that supposedly does exist is framed off of us being there in the first place when we shouldn't have been there, and maybe some of the bullets went our direction here and there. So now we have a right to self-defense. It's like breaking into somebody's house and they shoot at you and you're like, now I get to shoot back. because it's
I had to kill
self-defense.
everyone in those circumstances.
Yeah.
Kidnap their wife and daughter and keep them in the basement. And
so next in Dorian's weird fantasies aside,
I don't do anything with him. I just keep them in there.
Next in fucking around in other countries. Y'all may have heard of Burkina Faso. It's a country in Africa. Was recently overtaken by its military in a coup. The democratic government was overthrown by a couple of generals. So earlier this week, the military seized power in Burkina Faso, ousting the country's democratically elected president, Rochmark Christian Kabore, I think is how you say that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
The coup was announced on state television Monday by a young officer who said the military had suspended the constitution, dissolved the whole government. Beside him sat a camouflage-clad man whom he introduced as Burkina Faso's new leader, Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, the commander of one of the country's 3 military regions. Damiba is a highly trained soldier, thanks in no small part to the U.S. military,
Hell yeah.
which has a long record of training soldiers in Africa who go on to stage coups. Damiba, it turns out, participated in at least a half dozen U.S. training exercises, according to U.S. Africa Command, or AFRICOM. Damiba is just the latest in a carousel of coup leaders in West Africa trained by the U.S. military, as the U.S. has pumped in more than $1 billion in security assistance to promote stability in the region. Since 2008, U.S. trained officers have attempted at least 9 coups and succeeded in at least 8 across 5 West African countries.
Some good training.
Yeah.
Well, because they're not bringing the grenade gun guys here. They bring the snipers.
They're just bringing the imperialist brainwashed snipers. They've succeeded in at least 8 across 5 West African countries, including Burkina Faso 3 times, Guinea, Mali 3 times, Mauritania, and the Gambia. Since the 2000s, the United States has regularly deployed small teams of commandos to advise, assist, and accompany local forces, even into battle, provided weapons, equipment, and aircraft, offered many forms of training, including Flintlock, which is conducted by Special Operations Command Africa, and focused on enhancing the counterterrorism capabilities of nations in West Africa, including Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, Mauritania, Nigeria, and Senegal.
Why would you want to have counterterrorism forces after you perform a coup d'etat?
Yeah, weird how that works.
And it's not small forces.
No,
there are thousands of fucking U.S. troops in Africa. I think that at one time there was 15,000 Marines.
Yeah,
just regularly in Africa.
Right. Yeah. No. It. We'll also get into the amount of troops that are in Africa that people don't seem to realize are there.
The small commando forces.
Yeah. Just a couple. When the U.S. prioritizes tactical training, we overlook longer-term goals that could create more stable governments, said Lauren Woods, director of the Security Assistance Monitor, which is a program of the nonprofit Center for International Policy. We need more transparency and public debate on the foreign military training that we provide, and we need to do a much better job thinking about the long-term risks, including coups and abuses by forces we train. I'm going to go ahead and stop her there. I think that might be the intention. I don't have a whole lot to base this off of except for 9 attempted coups and 8 successful ones. But $1 billion in stability or training to promote stability in regions that ends up in massive instability is either doing exactly what it intends to do, or just so far off the mark that it's like, geez, we really screwed that one up for the last 2 decades.
Also, I really feel like the we need to foster more public debate is like the it's the same thing in macrocosm as your like manager abusing you and being like, have you looked at our free one therapy session? Because
or at any time you can report something to HR, right?
Yeah, whenever you want, you can be with HR.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and go to the next link. And this is kind of when people started realizing that there were a bunch of troops in Africa. So the headline from this Task and Purpose article is they were painted as rogue Green Berets. This is the truth the Pentagon doesn't want you to hear, which is kind of bizarre coming from a publication like Task and Purpose, but it's really just so egregious. And I think Task and Purpose only took this stance because like they literally smeared a bunch of people that were just doing what they were told by the government.
Yeah.
Right. Task and Purpose is, pro-veteran sort of stuff. So if we could zoom in on that article a little bit. Not that far. Back just a little bit.
I mean, you always know which side the Task and Purpose people are going to be on if they watch Rambo.
Right. Yeah.
The answer should be no one, but
right.
Speaking of Rambo,
hell yeah.
I need to piss in a bush.
Oh, okay. Well,
do it. You won't.
I need to pee.
Do it. You won't.
I get it. We get it.
Do it.
I'll try to run us through the narrative of this while you do.
Yeah, tell me about Rambo, Mike.
Rambo is the story of a young gentleman who has a
quick question. I'm sorry. Rambo, is that short for rambunctious?
No, it is the legal last name of Sir Jonathan Rambo.
Yeah, but that's short for rambunctious, right?
I don't know. It's Italian.
Sir Jonathan Rambunctious.
Sir Jonathan Rambunctious.
That's why he's killing people while like hanging himself from trees and shit. Is because he's on like a sugar high.
Yeah. Anyway, Sir Jonathan Rambunctious attempts to visit.
I love hearing that.
To visit the only black man in the movie who happens to also be dead before he gets there. But to be fair, he's dead from Agent Orange, so it's actually an okay social commentary, I guess.
The first one, yeah, sure.
Yeah, the first one is okay. The man's wife says, "Oh, sorry, he's dead. Agent Orange killed him. Sad. We're talking about veterans issues now." And Rambunctious won First Blood. And then what happens is John Rambunctious is now without direction, and he's just kind of drifting through the local area. And he gets picked up by some cops who say, we don't like your kind in this town. Yeah. It's the first time the cops have ever said this to a white man.
Yeah, small towns notoriously hate white veterans.
Yeah. So they pick up this disheveled veteran who is doing nothing but walking down the road.
Yeah.
They try to take him out of town. He gets a little uppity about it, so they take him in instead. They hose him down, and that gives him flashbacks to Vietnam when he was hosed down by incredibly racistly portrayed Vietnamese soldiers
with the buck teeth implants.
Yeah. And then he ends up escaping, and he kills everyone in the town.
I swear to God,
seems legit.
Yeah.
The social commentary kind of breaks down at that point.
Yeah. I think I last saw this movie like 2.5 months ago. And you somehow remember it so much better than I do. What's up with that?
I unironically love First Blood. I've watched
It's a good fucking movie.
I've watched it several times.
Honestly, I like all the Rambo movies, even the really bad ones, in different ways. I also love Expendables, so you know.
Real quick, from best to worst, rate the Rambo movies.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's weird. They all just went in order. That's great.
It's like the Halloween movies.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, all the way up to like 15 or whatever the fuck.
Well, for whatever it's worth, I agree with your assessment of the Rambo movies.
2, 4, 3. Yeah.
Yeah. The fourth one was just fucking cringy as shit because it was like,
was that
this is what we were made for. Killing people.
Is that the one that came out in like 2008 or something?
Somewhere like that, yeah. And basically what it is
where he like machine guns like 30 people in one scene.
30 people, I think, is low for that.
Yeah,
scene.
probably low. Like it's insane. It's the funniest shit.
He took on like a whole company of infantry.
Yeah. Okay, so it is that one. Yeah.
I mean, as far as gratuitous violence goes, big thumbs up. As far as the entire story, which is like Christian missionaries are kidnapped by a bunch of deranged savages, essentially. That sucks. And of course, the the generals of this army that are people from that area. They're all pedophiles and shit. So I'm
gonna pitch you a movie idea right now.
Okay. We weren't in the middle of talking about anything else, so I'm glad.
Yeah, no. But we did this on the Matrix episode of Schizotopia. If anyone wants to check that out, we rewrote the Matrix 4 and made it good. But
easy
to make it good or to make it better.
Make it better easy. First off, and then actually making it good probably would have been easy.
It was easy for me because
because I'm a genius.
I'm a genius
of the written word.
Okay, so my Rambo idea is that you essentially do like a mashup of Rambo and Cannibal Holocaust.
Okay.
Where what happens is you have a bunch of like Italians that go into this this like village, and they want to provoke these poor natives, and so they light their one of their homes on fire and do all these horrible things to them. And then of course the natives respond by cannibalizing a bunch of them, but then the missionaries arrive, and the missionaries try to convince the cannibals that they shouldn't do that, and of course do so with some amount of violence. But then Rambo appears and sees what's happening and has this really shocking response to it, where instead of helping these missionaries kill the rest of the cannibals, he just spends the rest of the movie scalping missionaries.
Okay, yeah. No, I think that's a good enough rewrite.
Just a good back and forth, it just goes on. Yeah. And it's all done with like shaky cam, Cannibal Holocaust.
What is it, Rambo 4 or 5, where he just says nothing never changes over and over again?
No, that's 4. There was never a 5.
Okay, 4. Yeah, whatever.
They didn't make a 5. I thought they made a newer one.
No, I don't think so.
That's good.
And I'm a Rambo scholar, so
yeah, a rambologist. You're a rambunctious rambologist.
That would have been better if he taught the blonde-haired woman to be tough, where he scalped her male counterpart.
Yeah, just to like make her harder to the world.
Yeah, and then just said nothing ever changes.
I have a real easy rewrite to Rambo 4.
Okay.
That requires way less effort than both of you.
He's wearing Joker makeup the whole time.
All you need to do is put a CIA operative as actually like coercing the local militia to do all these things, because he's promising them I don't know, some form of status later on in the future that's never going to materialize. And then the like final scene is Rambo like killing a CIA agent, and now we're like completely back above board on everything.
Oh yeah,
but then you realize it was a war game the whole time.
and some weirdo creep that graduated from some private school like two months ago is actually in charge of the war game. And he's deeply racist, by the way. Don't look at his Reddit posting history.
Yeah. Rambo picks up like a tassel from like a graduate cap and he just says, Yale. Anyway, what's
fucking
happening?
Hate the Harvard kids.
Fucking Rambo goes to scalp this guy, sees that he's a soft-bodied 24-year-old in an overly starched suit that's already bald, so not worth scalping. So he just shoots him in the face.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go.
End of the movie.
It's
I know you went to Harvard.
You just need to like acknowledge that the U.S. is probably behind it in some way. Then it becomes real. Then it becomes a good movie. So
what do we make hats do in Nigeria?
What do we what?
What do we make hats do in Nigeria?
What were we talking about?
Oh, we were talking about
green berets in Africa.
Yeah, in the early afternoon of October 4th, 2017, a team of U.S. and Nigerian partner forces were pinned down in an overwhelming enemy force, or by an overwhelming enemy force in Tongo, Niger, stuck without backup or the possibility of any medical evacuation. 4 Americans were killed. This is where you see task and purposes bias come out, which is how many Nigerians were killed. Maybe that's an important thing to also talk about. I don't know. Human lives dying is important no matter what nation they come from.
Yeah.
By the way,
for like context for the viewer, I think that like the Ranger Regiment went up against like, I think it was like 50 Rangers against like 500 fucking Iraqi soldiers or some type of insurgent, and they suffered like the insurgent forces suffered like 80% casualties, and like they lost like 50%, which is like 20 to like fucking like 380.
And that's all a function of just having access to like top of the line equipment,
good boomsticks.
Yeah, top of the line equipment and support and training and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So go down. 4 Americans were killed. The cover-up began almost immediately. That's the finding of a new documentary from ABC News on Hulu, 3212 Unredacted, which closely chronicled attempts by senior military officials to cover up what really happened that day and to protect higher-ranking officers who were at fault. The attack by Islamic State militants in Niger resulted in the deaths of 4 American special operators. We don't need to read their names because they're not more important than the Nigerians that were killed.
Almost all of the people pictured also just look like fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Actually, all of them. They all look like nerds.
Spec Ops dudes are
Unlike
not like the fucking Chads everybody makes them out to be. They're usually like weirdo dorks that like just like abusing themselves in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Weirdo dorks who run good.
Weirdo dorks who run good, like self-abuse and will absolutely let Uncle Sam like crush their balls.
God, please
they
stop.
Love that shit. It was a shock to a nation who in many cases didn't even know the US had troops in the African country. Now you can go down. While speaking to the press at the Pentagon on May 10th, 2018, Marine Corps General Thomas Waldhauser, the commander of U.S. Africa Command, stated in his opening remarks that he took ownership for all the events connected to the ambush. The responsibility is mine, he said, but that sense of ownership quickly dissipated as the official who carried out the investigation, Waldhauser's own chief of staff, Major General Roger Cloutier, laid out a list of problems the investigation had found. The problems weren't with AFRICOM, officials claimed, or even with the chain of command that oversaw an operation that placed American soldiers in a situation where they had little to no support and were vastly outnumbered by enemy militants. Instead, the blame was laid at the feet of the special operators themselves. The soldiers of Operational Detachment Alpha 3212 had not completed basic social level routine tasks ahead of the mission, Waldhauser said, adding that they inaccurately portrayed the intent of a mission they carried out the day before the ambush. The actions of the soldiers of ODA 3212, Waldhauser claimed, were not indicative of the fantastic job U.S. special operators do in Africa. Elsewhere across the country that day, outside that briefing room at the Pentagon, family members of the 4 fallen soldiers watched as Waldhauser and Cloutier described their loved ones as inadequately prepared soldiers who had essentially gone rogue on an unauthorized mission to capture an ISIS target. We don't need to read the rest of this. Go down a little bit more. Go down a little bit more. All right. 3212 Unredacted, the culmination of years of investigative reporting by ABC News' James Gordon Meek, pieces together a story that's entirely at odds with the Pentagon's version of events of what happened that day in Tongo Tongo, a story of soldiers who followed orders from senior officers who were continents away after concerns about the mission's safety voiced by the commander on the ground were overruled, a story about families who say they were deeply misled by Army officials and lied to on a number of occasions, etc., etc. The age-old American government lying to people, doesn't matter who it is or where they are.
Crazy.
And then, going back to what we were talking about earlier, how, a lot of this stuff is just like a pursuit of glory sort of thing. You have officers who have absolutely no on-the-ground connection to what's happening, telling people to go on a mission they don't know how it's going to turn out, and it ends up bad, and the people who actually know what's going on there say, no, we shouldn't do this, but doesn't matter. The 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, back in America needs to fucking get a win in on whatever their operation is. Go ahead and go to the next link.
That's a lot of squares.
Yeah, this
Holy
is
shit.
An incomplete map of all the bases that America holds in Africa.
Oh my god.
To the listener, it's a lot.
It's a lot of squares.
Yeah,
it's a lot of squares.
It's a lot of squares on that the map there. I didn't do a count of them. I should have done a count of them before, but it's not a complete map anyway. What's that?
It's about 30.
Yeah, it's about 30 different bases. Lots of them with like airstrips, which means a lot of support personnel. Ports also means a lot of support personnel.
It's about 30, yeah.
Nailed it, yeah.
I'm a number boy.
I don't know numbers.
I don't count.
I got to 28, then stopped counting.
Oh, okay. Well, I actually don't know how to make it past 5. I'm still working on it.
No, do I? I'm just good at I get a general feel.
And the reason
like
I
feels
can't,
like 30.
Yeah, the reason I can't make it past 5 is because God only gave me 5.
I can't make it past 5 because I have a repetition compulsion derived from trauma.
Oh, that's incredibly.
Because when I was 5, I
stop.
What?
This isn't therapy. You can't do that.
I was deployed to Africa.
Oh no.
Anyway,
nobody.
Lots of kids are actually deployed to. Lots of kids are actually deployed to Africa at birth.
Yeah.
And it's only a deployment because of what we do there. So.
And a lot are redeployed around 5.
Yeah. Ugh. That's grim. Yeah. So on the last subject of and not the last thing that we're doing in the fucking around in countries
just
subject. But there was this exchange with State Department goon Ned Price. And
we love a Ned. We love and trust anyone named Ned.
And an AP journalist named Matt Lee, who has been in the business for quite some time, as you'll find out. But I think it's an important line of questioning that's issued here And the response is incredibly telling from Ned Price, who is the State Department's spokesperson. So, John, go ahead and go to the next link.
Oh, that's a Ned.
Yeah, that is absolutely a Ned.
Man, guys, imagine Ned Price without knowing what he looks like, but you know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, just imagine him for a moment. Now, pause this and Google search Ned Price, and just realize how right you were. I don't know why John's doing it right now.
I think he took that as a command from you.
Is Ned actually short for Edward?
Only in certain circumstances, which is him.
That's so weird. And yeah. So confirming.
Because Ed sounds shitty, probably is like his justification. So I wanted to be called Ed.
Ed sounds so much better than Ned.
Yeah, I agree. Right.
Ed sounds like a guy that like knows how to drink and might like push over a porta potty.
See,
but Ned sounds like this guy.
Yeah. So I really wonder, did he break his nose as a kid falling off of a horse playing polo? Or did his dad break his nose because he didn't get into his preferred business school?
He actually tried to fix a deviated septum he didn't have because he tried to snort coke once in college and he got scared, so he broke his own face.
You guys are both wrong. From what I understand about Ned Price is he used to be in the CIA. So he actually broke his nose while attempting to fire a revolver, but holding it too close to his face.
That rules. That's very good.
So let's go ahead and play literally what I can only describe as like a fucking weird goon trying to basically you know what, I won't describe it. Let's just play it.
The most upsetting thing about the image of him, sorry, just the last thing, isn't his nose or anything. It's that he has
bird-like features.
Oh, well, I mean, that's part of it. But he has, like, I don't know how to describe it. He has ring light eyes, but there's no ring light around for sure.
No, this is how you know he used to be in the CIA. He's got those deep sunken eyes that tell you that, like,
yeah.
He will literally do anything, even if he's not asked to, just to like make America, like, I don't know, 1% richer in some way.
And there are two types of those eyes, right? There's like the school shooter eyes where it's like your pupils look too big, and then there are these ones where your irises are somehow more like pronounced.
Yeah.
And
these are destabilization eyes.
Yeah, it looks like you've been staring into a ring light. It looks like you are constantly taking a selfie.
Yeah,
it's really creepy.
Because you convinced a bunch of people to strap bombs to their kids.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Anyway, let's listen to fucking Nedward Price.
And this is an hour-long video, so I hope you guys are ready. No, I'm just kidding.
All right,
we'll only listen to like 7.
All right, pause.
We're only going through 7 or 8 minutes of it.
Oh, Jesus, 7 or 8 minutes. You
sorry, man. It's important. It's important.
All right, let's go.
Russia is planning to stage fabricated attacks by Ukrainian military or intelligence forces as a pretext for a further invasion of Ukraine.
So they beat this speech into him. That's what I've gotten from this so far. Okay.
He had to take a dose of LSD and watch a speech given in this way like 17 times before he was allowed to come out on stage.
Yeah, he's got like pinpoint pupils going on right now. He's overdosing.
Yeah, so his handler recently broke his nose while he was on it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
The Russians are considering, and which we made public today, involves the production of a propaganda video, a video with graphic scenes of false explosions depicting corpses, crisis actors pretending to be mourners, and images of destroyed locations or military equipment, entirely fabricated by Russian intelligence.
Fabricated.
To be clear, The production of this propaganda video is one of a number of options that the Russian government is developing as a fake pretext to initiate and potentially justify military aggression against Ukraine. We don't know if Russia will necessarily use this or another option in the coming days. We are publicizing it now, however, in order to lay bare the extent of Russia's destabilizing actions towards Ukraine and to dissuade Russia from continuing this dangerous campaign and ultimately launching a military attack.
Pause.
Russia has signaled
two things. One is more important than the other, and I'll let you guess afterwards. But he both has too many and too few teeth.
Yeah.
It's really kind of unsettling. Like he's a shark that's lost a couple rows.
Yeah.
But also that yeah, of course Russia is doing that kind of thing. And like, of course, we're also, we've done similar things in the past as well. Like we live in a media war landscape where we're just going to invent shit all the time in order to like initiate conflicts. Yeah.
Yeah. And
the important thing being the teeth.
Part of part of what's happening here is kind of a hedging of bets, right? Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's incredibly probable that the reporter that questions him will put it on blast essentially, but it's probable that there's no actual intelligence to back this up. There's no knowledge of this actually being done. And I'm not saying that Russia is innocent of this, because that would also be incredibly naive of me to say. But this is a hedging of bets where they're saying like, oh, what would we do in this circumstance? Oh, we'd probably make a false flag video or something like that. And so Russia may also do that. And what they're trying to do here, and weirdly, Sam Cedar took like a weird stand on this for some reason. I was watching it earlier today. I had this link in the link since like last night, but I was watching today's episode of the Majority Report. It took this weird stand where it was like, no, this is actually just a PR flub, not that the government doesn't have any evidence of this. It's more of a PR flub sort of thing. And it's like, no, what they're trying to do is they're putting this out there. If it doesn't actually happen, then they can say, hey, yeah, well, we discouraged Russia from doing this thing that we said that they would do.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
If it does happen, then they can say, look, we were right about this one thing with Russia. So here's the rest of our intelligence predictions of what they're going to do. And here's our justification for what we have to do next. So it's a hedging of bets. And Sam Cedar's point was like, no, this is purely just a PR flub. They actually do have some information probably, but they just like put it out there the wrong way. And this is like just a bad representative or spokesperson.
It's a weird hill to die on, but yeah, I could see it either way.
No, that's my point. It's a weird hill for him to die on in that way, because it could go either way. And
right.
Either they say, hey, we deterred this attempt because it didn't happen, or they say, look, now we have legitimacy, because he's going to tell this reporter later on, like, you don't trust the information that the U.S. government has?
Right. But I think, excuse me, I think the most important aspect of what's happening here is probably the fact that
too many teeth.
Yeah, too many teeth. Too many teeth, too many cooks. But it's the fact that essentially what they're saying, whether or not these are fabricated, it's the ability to go ahead and say, well, they invaded for a bad reason, and so any kind of invasion we can do is for a good reason, or gooder.
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah,
and that just it goes back simple. To just hedging
like
their
Syria.
Bets. It just goes back to hedging their bets. One thing or another will happen, and they can win either way.
Remember those cool fake videos about Syria, about the chemical weapons being used there on kids?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Where did those come from? Who knows?
Weird.
Not the CIA. Probably not Ned when he was still in the CIA.
Not him using that in order to escalate conflicts in a proxy war against Russia.
Yeah.
Anyway,
continue playing this.
Oh, 1 minute.
Willing to continue diplomatic talks as a means to de-escalate, but actions such as these suggest otherwise. We will continue to diligently work together with our allies and partners to expose Russian disinformation and other hybrid tactics used against Ukraine. We continue to work to prevent any effort Moscow might make to justify further military action in Ukraine. We again urge Russia to stop its destructive and destabilizing disinformation campaign, to de-escalate tensions, and to engage in diplomacy and dialogue for a peaceful solution. Thank you.
Does he file his teeth?
He might, yeah. Oh, hell.
Oh, man. What an opportune time for an ad to pop up. You should be able to skip it now, John.
Okay, well, that's quite a mouthful there. So you said actions such as these suggest otherwise. Suggest meaning they suggest they're not interested in talks and they're going to go ahead with some kind of what action are you talking about?
One, the actions I've just pointed to. The fact that Russia continues to engage in disinformation campaigns.
You made an allegation that they might do that. Have they actually done it?
What we know, Matt, is what I have just said, that they have engaged in this activity, in this planning activity. But let me because obviously this is not the first time we've made these reports public. You'll remember that just a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry, made what report public?
If you'll let me finish, I will tell you what report we made public. We told you a few weeks ago that we have information indicating Russia also has already prepositioned a group of operatives to conduct a false flag operation in eastern Ukraine. So that, Matt, to your question, is an action that Russia has already taken.
It's an action that you say that they have taken, but you have shown no evidence to confirm that. And I'm going to get to the next question here, which is, what is the evidence that they... I mean, this is like crisis actors, really? This is like Alex Jones territory you're getting into. What evidence do you have to support the idea that there is some propaganda film in the making?
Matt, this is derived from information known to the U.S. government, intelligence information that we have declassified.
Could you pause it?
Okay, well, where is it?
It's the... I love this this interesting effect where, you saw a little bit with the GOP, specifically the Trump people, but when they were asked to what's your proof, and they ended up saying something like, now let me finish, it was always really aggressive and angry, and you could see that they seemed a little threatened, but mostly it was just pure aggression and insanity. But with this guy, with Ned, who's part of our secret, not secret service, but our security apparatus, he's so close to crying.
Oh,
you can hear it. He's got magic flute voice. He's warbling. You can see his eyes getting wet. He's starting to put his head down. He's oh, this is really just kind of barely holding his stuff together. He's so angry.
Well,
there's going to be
because if he
shit rules.
It's because if he fucks up, his boss is going to replace another one of his lower teeth with a razor blade.
Yeah, if he fucks up, his dog is going to lose another tooth.
Actually, that's why he has so many teeth. Is anytime he fucks up, they just put another cyanide capsule in place of his actual teeth.
Which, if you've noticed, he's never completely closed his mouth.
So if he ever accidentally bites down wrong, he's now going to kill himself. So he has to be very practiced in how he responds, and I don't think it's doing very good for his mental health. He might have generalized anxiety disorder.
He might. From what I hear, if you get bad enough generalized anxiety disorder, you can become transracial as well.
Ooh.
So he might become a POC.
Yeah, I think his skin's getting darker as we speak.
That's actually what Trudeau was doing with his blackface. He was trying to tell people, he was mental health awareness, friends.
Yeah, I feel black sometimes.
I cannot wait for Ned Price to respond to one of these hostile questions as a proud black woman.
Yeah.
he might do that near the end of the clip we're going to watch. But go ahead.
An amazing name, and this is the last thing, but an amazing name would just be Ned Dolezal. That's a great name. Sorry, go on.
Where is this information?
It is intelligence information that we have declassified.
Well, where is it? Where's the declassified information?
I just delivered it.
No, you made a series of allegations and statements.
Would you like us to print out the topper? Because you will see a transcript of this briefing that you can print out for yourself.
That's not evidence, Ned. That's you saying it. That's not evidence. I'm sorry.
What would you
I would like to see some proof that you that you can show that
Matt, you have been
that shows that the Russians are doing it. Ned, I've been doing this for a long time.
I know, that was my point. You have been doing this for quite a while. You know that when we declassify intelligence information,
right. And I
we do so in a means we do so with an eye to protecting sources and methods.
Is not going to fall. I remember a lot of things. So where
when we release evidence, we don't release evidence.
Yeah, that's great.
It's,
and then the entire thing is hinged off of I just gave you the information, and the guy's like, "Well, that's not information. That's you. That's you saying you
just
have
told
information."
you.
Yeah, exactly.
I got this information directly from my hair plugs.
I just gave you the information, and the information is that we're saying this is information.
Oh, hell yeah. Go, Ned.
Where is the declassified information other than you coming out here and saying?
Matt, I'm sorry you don't like the format, but we have declassified.
It's not the format; it's the content.
I'm sorry you don't like the content. I'm sorry you are doubting the information that is in the possession of the U.S. government.
No,
what I'm telling you is that this is information that's available to us. We are making it available to you in order for a couple reasons. One,
no, they aren't.
is to attempt to deter the Russians from going ahead with this activity. Two, in the event we're not able to do that, in the event the Russians do go ahead with this, to make it clear as day, to lay bare the fact that this has always been an attempt on the part of the Russian Federation to fabricate a pretext.
Pause.
Friends
again.
would walk up to me and be like,
pause,
what the fuck is in your...
Oh, it's for the mushroom coffee stuff that doesn't do anything probably. But there is one bit of progress that we've really made over the years, and this isn't shit posting. Which is a good way to make it seem like I'm about to shitpost. But we really could have done. What's the journalist name? Matt Lee,
and he
Matt Lee.
Thank you. The AP.
There you go. We really could have done with a Matt back in 2001.
We
So.
During that exchange, Matt Lee recalls, I remember WMDs in Iraq.
Right.
He was actually around during that time, and he was asking all these questions, but he was pretty much uniformly derided at that point in time.
Right. Along with like Christopher Hedges and people like that, blacklisted.
So it's not that these people didn't exist back then. It's just that thankfully now they get a little bit more.
Now they're given the airtime, kinda. I mean, in the way that they're
because it's become so fucking obvious what the game is here. Which is arms manufacturers want another war.
Right.
And so, Ned here basically lays it out, which is we want to discourage the Russians from doing this. And in the event that they do this, we've laid out that they have a false pretext for war, which is also him saying now we have a legitimate pretext for war in response to that false pretext of war that the Russians have created. So, as I was saying earlier, it's them hedging their bets. They win either way. And despite the fact that, he could answer this better, but he knows that it's all a fucking lie, essentially. And so he, that breakdown where he just kind of goes, well, what do you want, Matt? Like, what do you want from me? Facts? Do you want a picture of us seeing the fabrication of this video that we say that we know about? And obviously they don't own that, so they can't show that.
So
Right.
yeah, no, because like if they had like a photo of like crisis actors taking a coffee break right before they fucking like got on film to fucking like pretend to fucking have a dead son in the snow or whatever the fuck they're saying, they could just show it right now on that fucking stupid projector from the 70s. You know, like behind
it is
his
a
head.
very bad projector. Thank you for No, but absolutely, and that just goes to show how lazy this really is on the part of you know, the world's foremost intelligence operation to just like not be able to, like, I don't know, Photoshop some bullshit together to make it look like all the
he hasn't
fucking
even claimed to have pictures. He's just said that we have the information.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is like back in you know, Iraq has WMD's ages where we at least had overhead photo shoots of pipes on the ground. To lay that out. But now we're just like the intelligence agencies have gotten so fucking lazy that they know all they have to do is just say like, trust us, bro. We've got the information, because the media apparatus for the last 20 years has basically just been the stenographers of whatever the intelligence agencies say is true, whatever the State Department says is true, and you see him having this kind of crisis in the middle of being legitimately questioned, where he's like, "You don't trust the information that the U.S. government has?" No, we don't trust the information that the U.S. government has because it's statistically been wrong every fucking time.
Yeah, it's exactly what happens with like a guy who keeps on getting caught cheating, where at first he's like, "No, you can look at my phone and shit." And
you think I would do it again?
And then later it's like, "Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to do? How do I prove that I didn't do it? You know, I could show you my phone, but then you wouldn't believe me."
Right.
You know, so yeah, I mean, America's a cheating boyfriend.
that kills millions every year.
Yeah, I mean, so do I.
Same.
Yeah. Let's play that shit. Let's get this
a little bit longer, and then we'll go to the fun stuff at the end.
The fun 8th.
But you don't have any evidence to back it up other than what you're saying. It's like you're saying, we think we have information the Russians may do this, but you
He's just melting. Yeah.
And then when you're asked,
that is the idea behind deterrence, Matt. That is the idea behind deterrence.
And when
it is our hope that the Russians don't go forward with this.
You say, "I just gave it to you," but that's not what
you seem not to understand. You seem not to understand the idea of deterrence. We are trying to deter the Russians from moving forward with this type of activity. That is why we're making it public today. If the Russians don't go forward with this, that is not ipso facto an indication that they never had plans to do so.
But then it's
plausible deniability.
My God, what is the evidence that you have that suggests that the Russians are even planning this?
Matt,
I'm not saying that they're not, but you just come out and say this and expect us just to believe it.
I just took a big poopy in my pants. That's how I know it. You know, I did poopy.
Just a little bit longer.
That it's actually true. Other than when I ask, or when anyone else asks, what's the information? You said, well, I just gave it to you, which was just you making a statement.
Matt, you said yourself, you've been in this business for quite a long time. You know that when we make information, intelligence information public, we do so in a way that protects sensitive sources and methods. You also know that we declassify information only when we're confident in that information. If you doubt the
That's why they declassified MK Ultra.
Yeah, that's why they declassified like 15 years later that, oh shit, it turns out Iraq did not have WMDs. We are now confident in this information, so we can declassify it. Every method we had for obtaining this information up until then was very secret. Spy satellites. And they don't even have that shit for what they're claiming now. And you know, we're in an age where like you can get any kind of fucking asset in a foreign country who has a cell phone to take some kind of evidentiary video or like set of pictures or anything like that, and they can't even fucking produce that. This is the most garbage fucking thing that I think has come out of the whole Ukraine Russia should we or should we not debate, and it's just it's disgusting to me. It's fucking disgusting.
I know a kind of a black-pilled old timer soldier who was in the first Iraq War, right?
Yeah.
And he was telling me as a young person in the military, it's like that it was bullshit. Well, why we were there? He's there active duty in the military. He's a higher ranking person. It's somebody I've known since I was a kid. And then I joined the military and he was still in the military. He ended up going to the exact same, looking at like the videos at the photos that the intelligence agency fucking like showed us on the news and shit. And it's like, yeah, no, these are the same fucking photos that I looked at debriefings before I seized fucking these compounds in the first Iraq War. And he seized them again in the second fucking Iraq War.
You take a couple good nudes and you got to save them so you can send them again. They're like, that's not your same test.
Always got to come back.
Well,
Yeah, and there's a bunch of young guys in his unit the second time around, and they were like disappointed because they were like let down. They're like, oh, did they move the fucking weapons of mass destruction?
Nope, this is still just where they make sewage pipes.
Yeah, no, he was like, no, this room pretty much looks the same, fucking just with 20 years of filth added on,
Yeah.
Like nobody's been in this fucking hellhole fucking like warehouse because it's a fucking hellhole warehouse with the same old shit that fucking we invaded them for the last time we invaded them for. Fucking it's just all bullshit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Are we done? We done with Ned?
Yeah, we can be done with Ned now.
Shark Tooth Ned Dolezal.
Let's go to the next link, which I think is supposed to be fun. I think it's supposed to be a fun link. It's something you sent in, Danko.
Oh, is it? Is it one of mine?
Yeah.
I can't see it.
It's the Golden Corral.
Oh yeah, it's Golden Coral.
My people.
Go ahead and click over. This was this is America invading itself. That's why I thought that it was pertinent.
Yeah.
And they're going to explain it all in the video.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't find the original one, which bummed me out. But yeah, they do explain where this started.
Okay, let's go ahead and roll it then. And this will be our last fun little clip of the day.
It's total chaos during one wild food fight. These diners threw all sorts of things at each other, not just fists. Look at those kiddie high chairs. It happened at a Golden Corral Buffet and Grill in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Watch as this guy tosses a chair. This knucklehead lifts a heavy table until a female employee wrestles it out of his hands. Police tell us 40 individuals were involved. So what caused the melee? It reportedly began after a man got angry when someone...
He never had his teeth replaced by razor blades by the CIA.
No, he's just wearing dog's hair on his head. Wearing a Labrador.
I automatically
a lot of missing dogs in the the area.
An inside edition, yeah.
Behind him in line got his steak first when he asked for it rare. That's when food and furniture started flying. We've seen pandemonium at all-you-can-eat buffets before. God. Things turned violent in New York City when there weren't enough crab legs to go around. But nothing like the fight at the Golden Corral, which in this case looked more like the OK Corral. The company said in a statement, local authorities are investigating the incident. Thankfully, no serious injuries have been reported.
Dude, that rolls. My big question is that, and of course, like these things spread and they get worse and whatnot, but how did this carry on from one guy getting angry about his steak? Right? Like, I guess he pushes the other guy. He's like, hey, fuck you, I was supposed to get my steak first. And then they push, and then like family gets into a little bit, and they're like yelling, and then the guy that was making the steaks is like trying to escape, and then one of his coworkers decides to start shouting to defend him or something. Like that's as far as my escalation gets in my head.
So since Golden Corral is basically the Catholic Church of the South.
Yeah, thank you. For, yeah. No, that's not true.
I know a little bit about
that. God damn it!
That's the Catholic Church. Is the Catholic
yeah, it's the Catholic Church. Is the Catholic Church. No, that
Waffle House.
That breakfast place. Yeah, thank you. Waffle
You're
House,
welcome.
right?
But so I don't get into the steak line when I've gone to Golden Corral because that is where you will find altercations.
Is that where you shoot one another?
Yeah, yeah. No, like
that's also
if something's gonna go down in a Golden Corral, which it does.
I've
never seen to this level,
happen.
you know, but I have seen fights at the steak line.
Damn. The Golden Corral is where John gets most of his meals.
The
vet discount really works for him.
You can get 8 meals for the price of 1.
But I've been in like physical confrontations, and I've been in confrontations where one or both of us have gotten angry enough that we've like thrown objects or things like that. But I have never seen a situation where 2 people have held aloft over their heads for extended periods of time, like children's seats.
Yeah.
Like what must you feel like to be so angry that you are holding over your head waiting for an opportunity to use a chair?
You have to live a lifetime of despair.
Yeah,
that necessitates that the Golden Corral is one of the best experiences you should have in your life. And so when that does not meet its expectation, you are immediately filled with rage.
Because generally you should have amount of time to like lose your shit, to like grab a table and like fucking throw it, and then like maybe throw a kick at someone or something. And then your brain should be like, oh, okay, what the fuck? But just holding it above your head for like a minute. It's just That's
you really have to like keep thinking that this is the okay thing to do for a whole minute.
Exactly. Like your brain never kicks in during that of just holding a child seat.
It's because like after the steak guy left, there is no other steak guy. So like after they're like there's only one steak guy per shift.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So like if you're the 5th guy in line, and that first guy fucking just, threw a plate at the steak guy and then he walked into the back, you're never getting your steak. You know? Your whole month is ruined.
Yeah, and in a way...
Oh, go ahead.
In a way, what's worse than the guy cutting the steak disappearing is the steak guy that started the fight either giving up or disappearing, because then you have no reason to keep doing what you're doing, and so you need to justify it. Yeah. So you need to pick up that table and smash a 4-year-old's head.
So I'm glad I waited. In the words of Sir Jonathan Rambunctious, they drew first blood, not me.
Yeah. Nothing changes.
Yeah, nothing changes.
War never changes.
War never changes.
That's actually Fallout. War never changes.
Whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, you're mixing metaphors and adages now.
I mean, aren't they the same one though?
Yeah. Rambo,
but we're
rambunctiousness never changes.
You're not gonna debate, or you're not gonna bait me into a debate on that right now. We have to end this fucking thing. So Danko, I know you made some changes to the Truncata Patreon. If you would like to let the listener and or viewer know about that.
I did. So we do have a tier system still, but now anyone independent of their tier is able to come into the workshop. So that means that the subscription is $5 to get pretty much everything. So the lectures, when I make them, workshop access, essentially all the tiers are the same now, but over time I plan on like adding things like shirts or something to the higher tiers, or some kind of reward.
Pictures of your anus.
Pictures of my anus to those who want them, which is obviously everyone. But the one real difference is that at the top tier, you get to be part of the decision-making process for what the themes in the future will be. So it now costs $5 instead of potentially $20 to join into the workshop. And you can check that out at patreon.com/Truncata, TRUNCATA. We're back tomorrow, 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. PST on Saturdays. And we have 3 more sessions left. So we're going to round out the rest of the month talking about correlation and poetics. And then we'll take a little break, and then we'll come back and talk about fascism for a few months.
Oh, man, who wants to do that?
No one in our contemporary zeitgeist wants to talk about fascism.
We hate that stuff so much we don't even want to discuss it.
It's not real.
John, I assume nothing's going on with Discopathic. Is that correct?
No, the second that I can remember a password and have to stop making new Twitter accounts to promote my OnlyFans, that'll take off. But I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Yeah.
Show us your butthole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my 24th Twitter account, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
As for the Benzo Rehab Dungeon, this will always be a free broadcast. However, if you would like to support us, please go to patreon.com/Benzo Rehab Dungeon. I will go ahead and front load that with we won't give you anything special for that. I can only be accused of being honest.
That's fair. That's fair.
It is purely if you enjoy the content and you want to help support the various subscriptions and other things that we have to pay for in order to make this happen. But not required, not demanded. Just throwing that out there to whoever feels called to help out. March 21st. Do we want to talk about that and give a little? We're going to be doing a Danko Deebs road trip.
Yes. Yes. I was like, what the fuck is happening March 21st? That's when I'm moving.
Yeah, that's exactly when you're moving. So somewhere around March 21st, there's probably going to be a series of not YouTube lives, but Instagram lives, maybe YouTube lives. I don't know. It depends on what the
we'll sort something out. We'll sort a few
signal
things out.
Works out. Yeah.
To harass you while we drive.
Yeah, I'll be trying to document some of it to turn it into a video sort of essay of us losing our minds as we drive across the country yet again.
Yep.
So this is not the first time Danko and I have driven pretty much across the country together.
Technically, I think this would count as the third time, because the first time was to and from.
Yeah.
So third time's a charm. Hopefully this is the one that kills us.
So we'll have fun with that. But just to put it on your radar, late March, March 21st more specifically. Get ready for some unhinged late night road driving content.
Hell yeah! Just be prepared to listen to me complaining about not being able to listen to my special tunes.
Yes, which are all
noise music,
avant-garde Mongol throat chanting.
It's all that and Stone Sour. No, Three Doors Down. Sorry, that's a better one. Yeah.
Only
I don't remember them.
At least it's better than a noise project.
Anything's better than Swans. Yeah. Anyway.
Well,
fuck off. Good night.
As always.
Oh, sorry. The other thing.
Stepping on my toes, man. As always, we love you. Please take your medicine.
Please take mine too.
Make sure to share some for